I'm seeing 11 of us in. Is that how you're seeing it?
Yes, so we do have a quorum, Chair.
Well, I know today's a big day and there's more on the agenda, on other people's agendas. There's some other meetings and things that they've got to go to at right after 5:30. We are trying to have a hard stop at between 5 and 5:30. So those can make their additional commitments. So we're going to get started as members are joining us. Before we get going, I want to start off with a roll call, and then vice chairs, if somebody joins us, I'll try to recognize them, but we do have a quorum. Okay, roll call. Vice Chair Belknap.
Good morning.
Member Booth.
I am here.
Member Cannon.
Hello, Chair Huntsman.
Good morning. Member Klein.
Good morning.
Morning. Vice Chair Davis.
Hello.
Member and Grandmother Earl.
Good morning.
Member Hanson.
Good morning.
Member Hart.
Here.
Member Hutchings.
I am here.
Member Hymas. Member Hymas. Member Lear.
Here.
Okay, Member Moss.
Here.
Member Norton.
Here.
Member Straight. You're muted, but did we get him? Member Straight.
Here.
Okay. And Board Member Huntsman is here. So we'll just watch for Matt. If somebody wants to shoot him a text and see if he's having some challenges, that'd be good. I need to read this statement. As authorized by Utah Code 52-4, this meeting is being held electronically without an anchor location for safety reasons due to the construction at the location where the public body would normally meet. Okay, we want to welcome everyone to our board meeting. This is
Chair Huntsman.
Yeah.
Matt Hymas says he's stuck in the waiting room. If by chance someone in technology could maybe take a look at that. So sorry.
I just got on. I'm sorry. My internet is down. I'm on my cell phone today. I will try to make it work as best I can.
Okay, we'll try to come. So welcome to our meeting. We've got everyone present. And for those that are joining us, our USDP building is the state DFCM group has a big construction project going on that takes out our main entrance and a bunch of our parking, and due to safety concerns for emergency exiting, we are holding this meeting electronically. So let's get right into our board agenda. Again, board members, we're going to try to focus on that 5 o'clock hard stop, but we do need to take care of quite a bit of business today and value your participation. Again, we welcome the public that has joined us. Let's go right to our board member message. Vice Chair Cindy Davis.
Thanks, Chair. I think we all sort of landed here in different ways. You know, I was just thinking about how I got into politics, if you will, in the beginning. And I started as I was as a principal at an elementary school. And I had a teacher come into my office, and this was during referendum 1. And he said, I am going to buy out my last 5 years. I'm going to retire 5 years early. Just tell me what papers I need to fill out. I'm finished. And this is a teacher who was outstanding. Like, everybody loved this teacher. His scores were always, his value added scores were like a 1.5 year growth, not just a year growth for his students. He would give the kids $1 if they lost a tooth in his room. I had parents come back and say, you know, he made such a difference in our family. He taught my kids 15 years ago, and we had a really hard year. And he showed up on our doorstep Easter morning with Easter baskets for our kids, not just the one in his class, but all the kids in the family. And another parent came and said, oh, he taught our daughter when she went through cancer treatments for months, and he came every single week without fail to see our family and our daughter at the hospital, and was just one of these kind of teachers. And I said, why are you doing this? We need you here. The students need you. And he said, I can't keep coming and putting my heart and soul into this every day and into these kids while I'm hearing what I'm hearing said about us out there. And this was when there were lots of debates about just, I think, schooling in general, public school and private school, and who does what, and benefits and costs and problems. And he said, the things I'm hearing people say about our schools, he said, that's not who I am as a teacher. He said, that's not who my colleagues are as teachers. And I can't do it anymore. And I said, listen, I said, you keep doing what you do for your students, and I will help people hear our perspective also from the good things that you are doing and that others are doing, and your good intentions. And so he shut the door to my office, and I was like, I have no idea what to do to help in this situation. And the next day, the only thing I could think of to start was to contact a radio station where I had heard some things that were so different from what our experience was in our school. And so I just contacted the radio station and said, I'd just like to share an alternate perspective from where we're coming from. And that just started an opportunity for a voice and a dialogue. And I've thought about this a lot, and how we come with so many different perspectives. And sometimes parents are in sync working together, and sometimes they're at odds with each other in what they want, or there are competing interests in what they want in schools. Sometimes teachers are in sync together, and sometimes they're a little bit at odds with what they want or see for their own school or classroom. Sometimes parents and teachers together can be at odds, and sometimes they can be together moving forward. It's an intricate system, and I just wanted to think a little bit about this today, and just show a few different examples of times where I feel like sometimes we're a little bit at odds, and sometimes we're working together, but how the process matters and how we interact and treat each other matters. I'd like to go ahead and start. Jeff is my bandwidth was having problems last night with my video, so Jeff so graciously has volunteered to, as the driver of today's meeting, help me here. So this first slide, I'll just say, I don't know how the rest of you feel, but having taken one step after another, and then many years later ended up on a school board, starting from a contact to a radio station to finally ending up on a school board. I'll just say, I don't love the politics still, but I love the people, and I love the policy, and I love the opportunity that we have to get into our schools and to visit with parents and teachers and students and figure out what's happening on the ground level and what we are doing as policymakers to help or hinder or ways, to be of service to our community. And I had hundreds of examples I could show you. So I thought I'll just take a handful from the last month or so, because like you, I'm sure we're always trying to get out there and be with the people that we serve. So this is a classroom at Manila Elementary School. And I happened to see this dad in the school who was there like all day. And, or at least the whole time I was there. And so afterwards I was like, who are you? He was doing everything with the kids. Anyway, his name was Dan Griffey, and he said, well, we have this program at our school called, watchdogs, which dogs is dads of great students. And he said, we all take turns taking a day off of work to come in and spend the day here in our kids' classrooms, helping and working with the teacher and helping the students. And it was so clear that it did, a child didn't, some kids don't have a dad at home, but it was so clear that he was there to help and serve all kids, not just his own child, which I really was touched and appreciated. I loved that the teacher was just, come into my room, come and be with us, see what we're doing, help us move forward for education. This was a great example of parents and teachers just working together to move forward good things for student and for student learning, for students. Let's go to the next slide. This was a huge track meet. I remember listening to meetings when Linda Hansen was on the board, and she used to say, go to events, go to big sporting events for your patrons, and really listen and talk with parents and teachers who are there and kids and say, how are things going? That's where you'll really get an honest feel for the general populace and what they're thinking and feeling. And all this was at a huge, in my own district called Alpine Days, a big track meet for all the junior highs. And while everybody was watching the student runners and jumpers, I loved watching all of the parents that were there cheering, and then the teachers and coaches that were down on the field helping and supporting and keeping the track events running. And the thing that I always find the most touching when I go to these things are like this dad. I just happened to snap a picture because he was just cheering for his child, and he was so intent on capturing, what his child was doing on film. And, hundreds of patrons were there. But it's these little moments where you just remember, parents love their kids. Teachers love their kids. Their own kids in their own families and the kids they serve in their classrooms. And this was a great example of everybody kind of coming together and doing good things for kids. Next slide, Jeff. I should say Director Van Holten. This one's a video. This is in Jordan District, a group of parents, superintendent of the district, mayor of the city, the foundation, other teachers going in and celebrating and giving this wonderful teacher, Stephanie Grant, a teacher award at Fort Harriman Middle. Oh, so it's a little tough on the audio, but you can see her face when they go in.
Stay here. We'll let you class in a minute. What is happening? Yeah, guys. Oh, guys.
So thanks for showing that. I think you can see that her face really says it all. This is a teacher who just puts her heart and soul into what she's doing. And there were this huge group of people coming in just to say thank you and to recognize her good work. And I found something interesting about Stephanie. After all the hoopla was done, she didn't go and give all the special guests and the mayor and everyone else a hug. Her students lined up to give her a hug. And I found that particularly telling that she focused on them first. Let's go to the next slide. This was just at Mountain Ridge Junior High. And this parent was taking a specially ordered soda to each teacher. They had ordered their own drink and taken them into every single classroom. And she asked me if I would like to go and help her deliver these drinks to the teachers. and I got to talk with her as a parent about her experience in the school and why she felt it was important to, work with the teachers and be a part of the school community. And it was just so fun. We took these into all the classrooms, and they thanked us, of course, but it was really poignant for me. I went into one classroom and the teacher said, "Thank you." She said, "At least one person likes us." And I said, "Do you feel like people don't like you?" She said, "Well, you read stuff." And it was kind of heartbreaking to me. I said, I see you, and I'm thankful for what you do for the students here. But you can go ahead and stop screen sharing, or don't go to the next slide yet, Jeff. Let's just stay here for a minute. Just a couple of nights ago, I went to a meeting with the Jordan Parents United group, and there were 6 parents there, or six-ish parents there, and 6 board members there. Well, 2 current board members and 4 people running for the board. And then there was a teacher there also. And it was such a fascinating dialogue. And I was so grateful that they were there and that they were talking together. And they had mentioned that the main parent in charge and the main teacher that was there had mentioned that when they go to the school board meetings and they get their little 2 minutes, they feel like they're a little bit at loggerheads, or they feel kind of like they're at odds. And so I loved seeing them come together for 2 hours and just listen to each other, and have the teacher hear the parents and go, "Oh my gosh, yeah, that I can see that I understand that makes sense," and have the parents listen to the teacher and say, "Oh, we hear you, we hear that, we want to support this and that and the other." And I don't think everybody was at 100% agreement when they left, but I think that those folks felt heard by each other. And I think this is the place that we need to get in our schools. We just need to get to a place where we're communicating together. And I'll be really honest. This parent shared an experience where her child had seen a video in class that she felt was totally inappropriate, and it was a substitute. And the teacher just completely apologized and said, "I'm so sorry. You know what? I didn't see it. It was a recommendation, and I am so sorry. That we shouldn't have shown that from the substitute." And I was like, I'd be mad too as a parent. But I appreciated this parent who said, "But you know what? We want to work." I was grateful for the opportunity to talk with the teacher, and we want to work together with teachers. Let's go to the next slide, Jeff, if you will. I shared this with that group, but I just think this is important to share with everybody, because we've got parents of students who sometimes feel isolated or bullied or discriminated against. Those students deserve a right to come to school and feel like they're in a safe place where they can access education also without all that. And we have other parents who say, we want to send our children to school and not feel like the values that we have at home or our religious dogma or beliefs, that things are going to happen in that classroom that are going to promote things that are against those things. And all of these parents on the spectrum have a right to come and bring their children and have their children feel safe and welcome and focus on learning at school. I'll just end by sharing this slide that we put into that training for the professional developers that work with teachers. And these came from Superintendent Dixon and I, after listening to a lot of parents, and I really appreciate this. And we said, and I hope teachers will remember this, engage in parental transparency. Not the 30-day ahead time where you can't be flexible with student learning and present levels of performance, but what works for you and your parents, and be transparent about intent. Ensure content is age appropriate, vet all materials before use with students, and remain unbiased in the classroom. I am a lifelong Republican. I never, when I was a teacher, shared my opinions when the president was in doing things that I believed in or doing things that I didn't believe in. That stuff stayed out of my classroom, and I focused on the learning and the skills and the standards that I was supposed to be teaching. Let's focus on the standards and focus on what we're supposed to be teaching, and leave some of these biases that just really could translate into frustrations with our families outside the door. And as families, let's work together with our teachers and keep that open dialogue going. I really believe that this is possible. And sometimes we feel like we're separated into these tribes or camps or whatever. But I think if we move forward together and find opportunities to dialogue and really listen to each other, we're going to find in the long run we actually have more in common than we have differences. And I just grateful for all of you board members and for the work that you do to help move good things forward for students in the state of Utah. Thanks, Chair Huntsman.
Thank you, Vice Chair Davis. We're going to move on to our education highlight. Ryan Bartlett, Director of Strategic Communications. Are you going to take point on this?
Yes, good morning. So as we'll soon be transitioning away from the special COVID-19 measures that were put in place for child nutrition programs around the nation and around Utah, I had the opportunity to speak with 3 school district nutrition directors, Casey Kress from Tooele, Katie Bastian from Jordan, and Jody Key from Guadalupe. And the purpose of these interviews was to get a sense of the challenging and extraordinary work that the school nutrition programs around Utah implemented and carried out during the past couple of years. I spoke with the directors about their memories, the challenges they faced, and their success stories during this time. And while it was clear that there were difficult times and challenges with staff being burnt out, supply chain challenges, and also some initial difficulty with planning how and where meals would be distributed, it was amazing to hear about how their hard work and resiliency got them through. And they were even sometimes able to have a good time while doing it, as some of the photos you'll be seeing in just a second will reflect. Above all, their concern for their staff and their care and concern for the children were what stood out the most to me from our discussions. So I'm just going to show you this video that I compiled of the interviews from these 3 directors, and along with some photos that they sent to me. And I'd also like to thank Kathleen, Director Bitten, for helping me to organize this month.
Casey Kress. I'm the Child Nutrition Director for the Tooele County School District. I oversee our 23 kitchens out here and our National School Lunch and National School Breakfast program, as well as our summer feeding programs as well, and help make sure they run smoothly and have safe and nutritious meals each day, every day for all of our students. I was just here and part of it. I can't take any majority credit at all. You know, our managers and cooks made the COVID feeding possible. They came to work every day knowing that we had our mission of safe and nutritious meals to provide to our kids each day, and especially during those times when their parents were being laid off from jobs or sent home, and money was tight. And so by us being able to still offer those breakfasts and lunch for them to take home, we had our heating instructions online. We can still offer that good service to them. So it worked really well. We worked through some kinks and we became pros at it. And now we're going to transition out of it and go back and try to remember how we used to feed. For me, in my mind, that was the biggest thing. I didn't want people getting burnt out, and it has happened. So that was our biggest challenge, is being able to find a solution to quickly identify when that is happening and be able to rotate those people out, tap them out, give them a little breather for a while, get them recharged and rested and back in. The student side of it, during the curbside feeding, our staff made it fun for the kids to come in their cars and pick up the meals, and And the kids too, they bring treats and balloons and signs and hang out at the sunroofs, and just, we love our lunch ladies here at, I saw it at Settlement Canyon Elementary out here, and it just, those little things like that. I know a lot of schools did parades with their teachers and stuff, but those little things to try to just keep I wouldn't say it's normalcy, but just keep that camaraderie and that line of communication open, and that show of gratitude, I thought was really cool and fun. I mean, we served a lot of meals, and they went to everybody who needed them.
I'm Katie Bastian. I'm the director for Jordan School District Nutrition Services Department, and I am in charge of making sure all the kids get fed and our program runs smoothly. So we have 64 sites district-wide. We're one of the bigger districts in Utah. We serve about 33,000 meals a day, both breakfast and lunch. When all the schools shut down, we ended up choosing 11 sites that were across our district geographically so that we could reach most people in our community. And those 11 sites were pickup sites, curbside, where parents, they'd come through in their car and get lunch for today and breakfast for tomorrow. The rest of our staff, if they weren't at one of those pickup sites assembling meals, we would pull them into our 5 or 6 high school sites, because they're large kitchens and large cafeterias. And they were doing a lot of our baking bread and buns, because we make a lot of our bread and buns from scratch anyway. So they baked our desserts, cupped fruit. So we were keeping people employed and busy. And then they would take all of that food that they baked and cupped and would take it over to the pickup sites, where that staff would assemble it into the meals and get it set to go curbside. So it was quite a production. They did a really good job of keeping things upbeat and doing fun things. The lunch ladies, they dressed up. We had a blow-up dinosaur, one of the ladies in a blow-up dinosaur distributing meals. We had them dress up as Easter bunnies and leprechauns and have signs for the kids. Some of them would write notes with a Sharpie marker on their little to-go container. So they're doing their best just to keep the kids, let them know that they missed them. They would take pictures, and we would post things on our Facebook page and social media that, the schools missed them. The families, I think they got to know a lot of the families really well. We had families come through in golf carts and razors. We even have pictures of 2 little kids coming through in a power wheel, grabbing meals during COVID. The National School Lunch Hero Day fell in May of that year when COVID first started. And we just put it out on our social media to let families know, hey, thank your lunch staff and all they've done. And there was really an outpouring of support and thank yous. People had posters as they went through to pick up their meals to thank the ladies, and they brought them cookies and all sorts of stuff. So that was really great to see the support from the community as well. The sites that we originally opened were in the lower income areas of our district, schools that we know usually have a higher free and reduced percentage of families. So that's where we focused at first. And then it became apparent that, there were needs even in, other areas throughout our district that weren't necessarily originally, a high free and reduced percentage area. So that's when we tried to expand the locations that we were offering. And then also I hope we met everybody's needs. We got a couple of the kitchen managers would get letters from the kids. One, I think I included a picture. Lunch manager had the crayon written note, thank you for my lunch and breakfast. So yeah, I hope we did. I think we did a pretty good job of meeting those kids' needs. So, I think having hindsight, now that most crazy part of that time is behind us, I'm just really proud, and I think our ladies are proud of what they did. They really just worked together as a team, and it was really a well-oiled machine to put the meals out there to the families in our community. And we became really good at becoming flexible to change. And really, I would just say the department in general just rose to the challenge. you know, it was put before us, and you know, they didn't think twice, and we were there, rain or shine, getting the meals out to our families. So, yeah.
My name's Jody Key, and I'm the food service director of Guadalupe School in Salt Lake City, Utah. We're a public charter school, and I'm the food service director here. I run the food program, I do the menu planning, I do all the ordering, and I have a great staff. We have about 400 students. We go from 2 years old for our early learning center and to our charter school, which goes to 6th grade. We do about 1,000 different meals a day that touches these kids' lives. We do a breakfast, a lunch, a fresh fruit and vegetable program, snack, as well as an after-school supper program. All of our kids we're a community eligible school, first of all, so that means everybody in the school gets free lunch. And so all of our kids are hungry every day. When the kids first came back after the pandemic, we were on 2 days on, 1 day off, and then 2 days on again with a different group of kids. It was an A-B schedule. I guess they call it hybrid schedule. The kids were just so thankful just to even be here, and they would just be so excited to just get lunch. I mean, they'd be like, oh, we're having lunch today. What is it? They were just happy to finally get their hot lunches back again. Then when they were able to come to the cafeteria, you could just see they were just so excited, you know, because it's something that's always been a constant in their lives. And so they really missed it when it was gone. Found out on a Friday or on a Wednesday, I believe we were shutting down, and so by the next Monday, we were out delivering on the buses to the students at their homes. We had a lot of bumps in the road. We had an earthquake about the second or third day of bus delivery, which was quite shocking. We were actually at work when it happened, but we still got food out to the kids that day also. My principal jumped in and come up, and she helped do the distribution of the food. We had a lot of parents come in and do pickups because we were unable to go to their houses because they lived out of our boundaries for our buses. So we had a lot of parents coming in to pick up meals, and they were very thankful. We were also able to distribute some fresh fruits and vegetables to the families in bulk so that they could have a fresh fruit and vegetable snack still and continue that program. So that was kind of, you know, heartwarming to see that people really appreciated what we were doing, to put a face on all the hard work that my staff was doing. Whenever I see a kid eating a healthy meal and they have a smile on their face, that feels like success to me.
Okay, that concludes my presentation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's amazing what, you know, we have a perception of what public education is all about, and to a lot of these kiddos, these fresh meals are really, really important to them, and they look forward to them with vigor. It's a good program. I appreciate the update and the service of all those that make that happen. So thank you.